Hi there, BookTube! My name is Christina and today I'm here with a kind of review, more like a collection of thoughts about a very special book that I recently read, and it's talking about Jane Austen in Baghdad, written by May Whitwit and B. Rowlatt. I'm so sorry again for my strange voice and my tired face, but I'm still ill. Anyways, without further ado, let me get to this book. This is a very interesting book and I was so fortunate to pick this as my first book from my library. I picked it, I have to admit, because of the word Jane Austen on the cover, and it was the reason why I picked it, but it's not something on which the book focuses deeply. So if you're searching a book about Jane Austen, it's not one of those. It's an amazing exchange of emails of two very different women. One is an English journalist and the other one is an Iraqi English literature teacher, and how they develop this kind of friendship while writing emails to each other. The book starts in 2005 and ends in 2008, if I'm right. So it covers a 3 years time span, and you may see how these women forged their friendship, how they changed, how they start to trust each other, and so on. So it's very interesting as a female-female relationship, so to see a friendship developing actually through emails. And I don't want to speak about a true review of this book on Goodreads for the sake of the star systems. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars just because I will definitely reread this book and I want to buy it in order to have it on my shelves. I do believe that it's a very important book to own and to read, but I don't want to review it properly because it wasn't thought as a book. It's a real exchange of emails that really happened, and it deals with the real lives of two real women who are alive right now. So I don't feel entitled to judge anything that I read there, and this is something very important. You have to suspend your judging self and just to let the story evolve in front of your eyes. It's a very interesting experience, and I read this book in Italian, but I do believe that probably reading it in English will be even better, because English books translated in Italian, they're not often very fluent, because English and Italian are two very different languages. Italian prefers long sentences, English prefers short sentences. So sometimes in a translation you really may feel that something is off. At least I may feel it, probably because I studied it, so I really focus on language a lot. But probably reading it in English is better if you can. This book was amazingly mind and eye-opening for me, because I have to admit that I knew very little about the recent history of Iraq and of the whole Middle East actually. I know some facts, some major facts of course, but I never researched these facts, and I actually never read anything from a first-person perspective, and it was very eye-opening, and it was told in such a comprehensible way and in such an easy way, because it's described by someone who lives there and who feels everything that happens on its own skin. So it's an amazing experience, at least for me it was, and I hope that it will be for a lot of other people. I definitely suggest you to read this book. And as I said before, this book starts in 2005, and it starts with this English journalist who contacts this Iraqi teacher in order to ask her opinion on the upcoming elections. And from there, the two, they start to communicate and to talk to each other and to slowly become friends. And it was so particular the way in which they communicated, because obviously they had two absolutely different lives. One lives in a country where we have peace, the other in a country where we have war, and so their worries are completely different, and their social and economical situation is completely different, but they both have friends issues or love issues or something as trivial as going to a hairdresser and so on. So it's very nice to see how even if we are so different, if we consider that we live in different countries, we're all the same because we share the same main life experience. Not all of us, unfortunately, but the biggest part of us, we share some facts altogether, some things in life altogether. So it was very nice to see it and to realize it while reading, because it's not like in your face, but you realize it while reading it. And another fact that I really appreciated was the fact that this book made me think so much about how often we are judgmental about a lot of things in our life, and how we need to try and to be less so, and just to enjoy the small things in life and to live our lives to the fullest. So it was very eye-opening, and for me it hit really close to home because one of the protagonists is a university teacher, and being one myself, when she described certain things happening, certain very bad things happening, I was so shook because for a moment I imagined myself in such a situation, and it was just heartbreaking. And I loved the fact that such a book that wasn't written with the purpose of teaching you something was actually teaching me so much. And I love when it happens with a book, when it's not like all notions in your face, but at the end of the story you bring so much with you and it gives you so much. One thing that I really suggest to you is, if you want to read this book, really suspend your judgment. Just let the story like flow in front of your eyes, because at some points I was angry with one of the protagonists because of some things that she said, or I was like, oh, you're so unlikable. And then I stopped myself and I was like, stop. You're not talking about characters. They are real women, they are real people, and they're speaking like that because they are living something that you're not at this moment. So they are entitled to their own emotions, and it's very important to respect it and to try to understand why they are telling what they're telling. For example, one thing with which I struggled at the beginning very much was the fact that one of the women, the teacher, she was talking about war and about the horrors of war and about how people around her were threatened or dying and so on. And the answer from the English journalist was something like, I'm so sorry about your situation. Anyway, I want to speak to you about how I fought with my husband last night, or how my little girl lost her first teeth yesterday. And it was like, how is it even possible that you are speaking about something like that after a person told you about the horrors of war? How? And then I realized, just in a couple of emails that they wrote later one to each other, I realized how this normal aspect of life was very useful to the other protagonist. So how she wanted to share the bad things happening to her and her country and her people, but at the same time how she needed to see that on the other side of the world there were people living a normal life with normal problems, like small everyday problems that still mattered to those who lived in there. They didn't have like worldwide horrible and horrifying problems. They had small family problems, and it was enough for her in order to go on and to remember how it was before the war came into her country and destroyed everything she loved there. So it was like a long process. It took me a while in order to start to suspend my judgment and just to let the story evolve. And it was mind-opening, eye-opening. I definitely suggest to everyone who wants to experience something different to read this book. to suspend your judgment and just to enjoy the story, and maybe to think about this matter a little bit after you read it. This is a book that stuck with me, and I definitely will buy like physical copy of it. I really want to own it. I do believe that it's worth it. And if you've read it, please let me know down below which were your thoughts, or if you're planning to read it, or if you've read it and you disliked it. Again, let me know. I'm very curious. This is a book that was very interesting for me. It was quite an experience to read it, and I just would love to chat about it a little bit with you. So this was it for this strange not review, I don't know what was it, kind of video. I hope that you enjoyed it nonetheless, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye! Ciao! Me from the future, and here I am with some other recommendations from the Strike Back Videothon, and I'm trying to recommend 2 different booktubers for each and every video up till the very end of February. And my 2 recommendations for today are Irina from Beautiful Pages. If you want to see a different point of view and some different books here on BookTube, then definitely go and check out her channel. She is Russian, but she lives in the UK, and she reads such a variety of different books. She loves children's books, middle grade, YA, adult books, just everything. She has so many different interests that just go and check out her channel. You will definitely love her. Her voice is just so relaxing, and her videos are purely nice to listen to while you're doing something and you want to relax a little bit and unwind a little bit. And she even has a second channel on which she posts all of non-bookish related videos that she makes, so some hauls and sharing some favorites and so on, so definitely go on her channel. And the second suggestion that I have is Courtney from Protagonist. Her channel is unique. You know, when you discover one of those people who's just genuinely passionate about something and it's something new for you and you just binge watch all of the videos, that's the case. She loves cozy mysteries, and I knew nothing about cozy mysteries before discovering her channel and a couple of other channels related to hers, and just go and check it out. If you know nothing about cozy mysteries, go and follow her, because she will like open a new world for you. And if you're already a reader of cozy mysteries, then I'm sure that you already know about her channel. And she's just funny and lovely and quirky, and she has a beautiful, like, bright smile, so go and follow her. I hope that you will love her content.